This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Hey everybody, it is the After Party Live on a Hide in Your Cave Monday. So exciting to have Mo aboard. I'm telling you guys, it takes the pressure off of me. He is so good and so much fun. If we can't have Mark, let us have Mo. So this is great. I really am enjoying it. I did see this message coming through from Mama, and I want to share this with you. And I'm so sorry, it makes me cry. Mama de los Goblins says our senior dog, a Chihuahua, passed away today. He had belonged to my stepson and came to live with us 4 years ago. Mama writes, I dreamt about my childhood dog last night. I believe he came to guide him home. Oh, you just choked me all up, Mama. I am so sorry to hear about this Chihuahua that passed away. But thank goodness the last 4 years he had a wonderful home, and probably before that as well. But at least you got to know him and spend time with him the last 4 years. And he passed away as a senior dog, having a great family and a great environment. So sorry to hear that. Thank you for sharing it with us. Also saw a lot of people talking about some trolls going on in the Mark Thompson show. Please email me and let me know the name of said troll, and I will try to be a little bit more on top of it tomorrow. Kim at the afterparty.live. If there's anyone that concerned you that you think needs a good old blocking, let me know, and I will do the blocking. Well, we started the show early, and I hope I have enough material to fill. I think I do. I have so many good stories, and that is thanks to the people that have messaged and emailed these stories in, and that includes Teacher Lori. I have a couple of stories from Teacher Lori, including this one. This is the lead story today, and thank you again to Teacher Lori for sending it in. And it is about these giant squids. And I saw Sandy say the picture freaks her out a little bit. When you see the video, I think you won't be freaked out. You'll be absolutely mesmerized. Really, really cool picture. This squid was caught on camera, and it doesn't happen very often that we see these amazing creatures. Uh-oh. Okay, I think I'm good. All right. But they, off the coast of Chile, managed to see this amazing squid swimming through the sea, carrying her thousands and thousands and thousands of babies. So I wanted to show the video to you, and I think I can do this. So here it is. Uh-oh, somebody's hammering next door. Hopefully you guys can't hear that. Here is the video. Hold on. It's coming. At least I thought it was coming. Here it is. Okay. Check this out. Let me start it at the very beginning. So usually these squids lay the eggs and swim away. But in this particular case, this squid is one that carries the thousands of eggs with her. So you can see as she swims along, she's carrying all of these eggs. Some of them that are ready to go fly off of her. But this is a rare sight. Hardly ever seen. Look at all the eggs there that she's carrying along, Mama Squid, as she goes along the dark, dark ocean. They say this is rarely seen. This is astonishing. She's swimming along the sea floor, the image called extraordinary. And she's putting herself at risk doing this in order to protect her offspring. The image captured by the Schmidt Ocean Institute's underwater robot that caught this. Let me roll it again so you can see the incredible. Look at her eye. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. So interesting to look at, I think. The most squids, they say, lay their eggs on the seafloor and they don't provide any parental care at all. They just swim away and that's it. So this black-eyed squid is one of the few species that brood their eggs. The female will carry her large egg mass for months, keeping it suspended from hooks on the squid's arms. They say it's a very dangerous time. Brooding squid can't move very quickly, and so could be then very easy prey for deep diving marine animals. There are as many as 3,000 eggs in this cluster of eggs that you see here. Um, 3,000. That's a lot of babies, Mama de los Goblins. I don't know about you, but that's too many. The incubation time could be 6 to 9 months. The expectant squid mom will keep pumping water over her eggs the entire time to make sure that they have a good oxygen supply. The movement that you see her kind of undulating there with the eggs also helps more mature hatchlings break free when they're ready to swim off independently. And after she lays her eggs, she will go without feeding. And by the time they all hatch, she'll be close to death. Very interesting to be able to see this as she swims on the deep sea along the sea floor off the coast of Chile. Look at all those eggs. Thanks, Teacher Lori, for that story. That's super cool. Love the video as well. Shall we move on toward this next story? It's Tahoe Bear. You may have seen this picture, but I had to share the story. I couldn't not. I don't know if you've been to Tahoe when they in the wintertime when they put up the ice rink at Heavenly Village. Before it opened, this Tahoe Bear was the very first customer testing out the ice ahead of the grand opening of the seasonal local ice rink. Before the first skate of the season, the bear decided to check out the ice instead. The spokesperson for the shops at Heavenly Village said, "This is Charlie, Charlie the bear, seen trudging across the Heavenly Village ice rink right before the ice hardened, or yeah, right after the ice hardened this week." They said they just opened the rink. He was the first one who took to the ice this year. So there you go. Apparently, Charlie is friends with another bear, the one that was caught ransacking an ice cream shop at Camp Richardson. The question is for Tahoe, will the ski resorts open? When will they open? They've seen trace amounts of snow leading up to ski season. They say snow is possible in Tahoe late this week, but it's too early to make an accurate prediction, and it is unclear at this time if Tahoe resorts will have enough snow to open the day after Thanksgiving. We'll see. Keep our eyes on it. But there's a great picture of the bear, Charlie. Speaking of animals, Teacher Lori also sent me this story about baboons. It turns out they share meat like hunter-gatherer humans do, and they were filmed doing it. The footage captured in the Nicolo Koba National Park in Senegal. There was a study done by the German Primate Center there, and it shows these Guinea baboons distributing meat in different ways. The baboons share meat in accordance with unwritten rules that set up their society. The study, published in the journal iScience, shows that the patterns in the way baboons pass out meat or allow meat to be taken was seen in hunter-gatherer tribes, and it could explain the evolution of some complicated social structures. So the Guinea baboons live in dry forests of Western Africa. They're one of the smaller species of baboon, and they usually eat little things like fruits, invertebrates, occasionally larger items like bush buck, which they can chase and catch and do. Um, and let me show the video. I have the video of this as well. Teacher Lori sends me the good video today. The study did involve filming to see how the meat was shared in this instance. So let me take down this baboon and let me give you this baboon. And here they are doing what they do. Oops, apologies. I'll get it in there. There it is. There they are, sharing their meat. Yeah, I know, hard to watch them eat a live animal, right? So here's what they do. The more immediate members of the family are the ones that are past meat. They get it pretty quickly. You know what? I know it's video, but I'm gonna go back to the picture because I don't think I don't know if we want to see the killing of the creature. Maybe the picture is worse than the video. I don't know. But here's what I can tell you. The study provides evidence that social structures have effects on the exchange of resources, regardless of the species. So certain social patterns may have developed independently in humans and in non-human primates. Very interesting what they do. The social structure for these baboons is made up of units, parties, and gangs. Units are family groups, a male with his females and their offspring. Parties are made of 3 to 4 units connected by long term bonds with males that are often related. And the gangs are made of 2 to 3 parties where kinship is less than a feature. And what they found is that there were some transfers called tolerant transfers, where animals took pieces of meat from others without conflict. That occurred almost exclusively within the closest social units. Things got a little more sticky as the group size grew and relationship became weaker, and there were scavenging issues and stealing issues that became more common if you weren't necessarily part of the unit. In human hunter gatherer societies, meat was a valuable food source, rarely available, and widely shared, first within households, then within camps. So, in a very similar way, the way baboons do things, not so different from the way we do. All right, away from the feeding of creatures and on to the cars, because there's some cars going up for sale, some Hollywood cars. The one you're looking at here is, I think it's called the General Lee, right? There are more than, I don't know how many cars are up for sale, but I can tell you that this is one of them. This is the, yeah, 1968 Dodge Charger named the General Lee. It was used as a stunt car in the 2005 movie version of the Dukes of Hazzard. The Pop Central Museum in France is selling off a collection of original stunt cars. The vehicles up for sale were used in the Fast and Furious franchise, John Wick 2, Drive, Back to the Future 2, Dukes of Hazzard. Others are seen as replicas in classics like the A-Team, Herbie and the Love Bug, Batman, and the James Bond movies. In all, Auction House in Bonhams will be selling off 50 movie and TV series vehicles and motorcycles, along with memorabilia like Jurassic Park T-Rex statue, expected to bring in between $40,000 and $70,000 for a T-Rex statue from Jurassic Park. I could see that going for a lot of cash. So here's some of the cars. So we have the General Lee. The next one is a 1969 Ford Mustang Mach 1 seen in John Wick 2. Well, here's what this car looks like. And again, it's a stunt car. As you can see, it's beaten all to hell. Damaged, dented. That's the stunt car from John Wick 2. This one's pretty cool. This is a Back to the Future police vehicle around about 1989 from Back to the Future 2. It's a 1999. Oh no, sorry. It is a, let's see what the make of this car is. Oh, it's cool looking, whatever it is. It is a police cruiser, one of two built, this is, and the only one fitted with an engine. It was on display at the Peterson Automotive Museum in California before it was acquired by the Pop Culture Museum in France. This is cool. It's built about 1989, and it was designed by Tim Flattery and built by Gene Winfield. That car is cool looking. Here's the next one is a 2001 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 8 stunt car for the late Paul Walker in Too Fast, Too Furious. Here's what it looks like. That's a stunt car from Too Fast, Too Furious. And then the last one was in the movie Taxi 2, and it's a BMW also up for auction. Oh, sorry, it's not a BMW. It's a 1999 Peugeot 406 V6 from Taxi 2. Sorry, it looks like a BMW to me, but it isn't. So there you go. All of these vehicles are up for sale, up for auction. They said the museum has been an incredible adventure, but the time has come to move on to new automotive projects. The owners of the museum have spent years collecting all of these cars and had the pleasure with sharing them with enthusiasts all over Europe, they say, and now it's time to pass them on to film lovers who will take up the baton and continue to keep these witnesses to mechanical cinematic history alive. The auction to be hosted November 21st through the 28th, and I bet they'll go for some big money. Though there's a discrepancy over flying the Hawaiian flag, and I, for the life of me, can't figure out why. I do understand that in Hawaii, the Hawaiian flag is not just a state flag, it's also the former flag of their country. And sometimes when you see the Hawaiian flag, it can be seen as anti-American, right? We want original Hawaii back, United States leave. There are some people there that would like Hawaii to be reverted back in time to its own country. Having said that, this is also a state flag. All through California, you see the state flag right below the American flag. All through America in states, the state flag flies right below the American flag. And as long as the American flag, as is protocol, is flown the highest, I can't imagine why this is the hill that anybody wants to die on. There is a homeowners association in Hawaii trying to ban Hawaiian flags. This is in an area on Oahu, the island of Oahu. This homeowners association is now being heavily criticized for banning the flying of the Hawaiian flag on the residents of the properties within this homeowners association. They say no, only American flags are permitted for display in areas visible from the street or any neighboring property. You want to tell me, if I were a homeowner there, what flag I can fly? Are you kidding me? In Hawaii, of all places? Do you not know the history? Boy, try to piss people off. This is a great way to do it. The HOA's rules went viral on social media after a homeowner who had a Hawaiian flag displayed was sent what they say is a gentle reminder of the rules in a letter because somebody had some kind of concern. The HOA describing rules as a way to protect aesthetic appeal and property value in the neighborhoods. One of the former Hawaii state legislators who heard about the rule, her name is Kanyela Ing, took to the streets of Iwa in Hawaii, waving the Hawaiian flag in front of this housing community, saying, first of all, this is a violation of the U.S. Constitution. Second, we've just got to make it legal to be Hawaiian in Hawaii, 100%. So this flag, the He Hawaiian flag, is a symbol of the fact that Native Hawaiians are still here, according to Ing, who talked to SF Gate and said it has survived generations of occupation and cultural erasure, as did the people, the Kanaka. When it flies, you feel the mana, you hear the cries and the celebrations of your ancestors. Plus, it's an official government flag. The HOA, she said, should immediately exempt the He, the flag, from its policies, as should all others, and apologize to the people of Hawaii. This Hawaiian flag was designed for the Hawaiian kingdom by King Kamehameha I, using elements of the British flag as a nod to their close ties. It is also currently the official state flag. The board of directors of the HOA says We recognize and deeply respect the cultural and historical significance of the Hawaii state flag, and we understand the pride our community members feel displaying symbols that reflect Hawaii's unique heritage and identity. Uh, while the association's current guidelines only permit display of the United States American flag, the board is reviewing this rule for revision to include the official Hawaii state flag following the procedures outlined in the blah blah blah. What a dumb thing to do. Even if you look at the Hawaiian flag in Hawaii as a political statement, it is the state flag. It's like banning the California flag. Really? That's dumb. If people feel pride in their state, they should be able to fly the state flag. I mean, of all the things to complain about, is there not trash in someone's yard? Is someone's lawn unkempt? This is where we're going to go? Yeah. All right, so here we go. And now there's a big protest, and hopefully the association in this area will change their mind. I think this is also a Teacher Lori story, but I forgot to write your name down by it. This is a supercontinent. The breakup of the supercontinent possibly made Earth ready for complex life. At one point, all the land was connected, right? Before there were trees and animals, the Earth was changing in major ways above and below the surface. So, about 1.5 billion years ago, a massive landmass called Nuna started to break apart. And scientists now think that the shift may have played a key role in shaping what kind of planet or the kind of planet where complex life could eventually take hold. At this point, when it was still Nana, the Earth's surface was mostly ocean wrapped around a single giant continent. But there were tectonic plates moving, pulling it apart. And the split did more than rearrange a map. It triggered changes in the ocean atmosphere and the climate that helped life get more complex. Scientists once called a block of Earth's history from 1.8 to 0.8 billion years ago the boring billion, because they thought there really wasn't a lot happening, geologically or biologically. But now they say, that's really not true. As Nuna began to break apart, it touched off this series of changes that reshaped the surface of the planet and made it more suitable for life, complex life. They tried to understand how this all went down, and so they built, the researchers, a detailed model tracing plate movements over 1.8 billion years, mapping how the continents shifted and split and how carbon moved between the Earth's interior, the oceans, and the atmosphere. And they figured out that one of the major things that happened when Nuna started breaking up was the creation of more coastlines and shallow seas. About 1.5 billion years ago, the amount of shallow continental shelf more than doubled, reaching about 80,000 miles. And the shallow waters became really important because they likely had more oxygen, moderate temperatures, and long term stability. And that is just the kind of environment perfect for life. The matchup came with another big movement. They looked at fossil records showing the first appearance of organisms with a nucleus inside their cells about 1.05 billion years ago. So, at the same time the new shallow seas were forming, the planet's carbon cycle was shifting. Volcanoes, which release carbon dioxide into the air, were less active, and carbon was being stored in the ocean crust more effectively. As mid-ocean ridge ranges expanded, the seawater seeped into the cracks, reacted with the rocks, and helped form limestone, locking away the carbon. The dual effect, reduced volcanic carbon release, enhanced geological carbon storage, cooled the Earth's climate, altered ocean chemistry and created conditions suitable for the evolution of more complex life. Study done at the School of Geosciences at the University of Sydney. And again, you can find the whole study that is going to be published in, I think I said it, but I'll try to say it again. Where was it? I lost it. I'm sorry. I know I said where it was published earlier, but very cool study, I think. So yeah, the School of Geosciences at the University of Sydney, and they say it was a stable launch pad for life, that the breakup of the supercontinent is really what touched this whole thing off. The research making one thing clear: what's happening beneath the surface of the planet can shape the life above it. So, new way of thinking about that. Are you one of these people that gets really sad when the weather changes and we get winter coming in and the sky gets gray and the sun sets earlier? You have more darkness in the evenings. You're not alone. A lot of people suffer from this, and experts say seasonal depression is more likely as our days get darker. Hopefully, if you're here, though, we'll bring some sunshine into your life. Well, metaphorically speaking. But as the days get shorter and the temperatures drop, there are a lot of people who start to feel a noticeable shift in their mood. Seasonal affective disorder, they call it. SAD. It happens around the same time every year, mostly in the fall and winter when the sunlight becomes more limited. But doctors say having the right tools can make a big difference in how you feel during these months. Chief psychologist at Rutgers University Behavioral Health Care in New Jersey says SAD affects people in different ways. The common symptoms include feeling sad most of the day or most days, low energy, sleeping more than usual, overeating, losing your appetite. I thought we were just fattening up for winter, no? Weight changes, losing interest in activities that you normally love. Some people feel hopeless. Doctors typically say they diagnose SAD when these symptoms happen for at least 2 winters in a row and then improve during the spring and the summer. Because reduced sunlight plays a major role, getting outside during the day can really help boost your mood. Even short outdoor breaks, even sitting near a sunny window, can help increase serotonin, which is linked to feeling good. Also, they say light therapy, exposing yourself to bright artificial light, is another option. The research shows it can help up to 85% of people if it started early in the season. So now is the time. Turn on the lights, sit in the light. They say simple daily habits can make a difference. Staying active, talking to friends or family, eating a balanced diet, and keep doing those activities you enjoy, even if your motivation feels low. And most importantly, they say don't suffer in silence. Reach out for help if you're feeling any symptoms. They also say therapy, antidepressants, all of these things can work. But turn on the lights, get out there in the light to fight SAD. I thought this was an interesting story about this little teeny tiny brain implant. You look at it there and it looks kind of like a garden stake, but it's actually the size or smaller than the size of a grain of rice. Teeny, teeny, tiny. Today's neural implants are smaller than ever. A lot of them prone to complications. According to researchers at Cornell University, they have a new iteration of a neural implant detailed in the journal Nature Electronics. And the thinking is that this could be a new way forward in this idea of brain implants. This thing is small enough to fit on a grain of rice. The microscale optoelectronic tetherless electrode, or MOTE, is vastly smaller to similar implants, and the scientists say that the design could be adapted to work in other delicate areas of the body. Researchers say, as far as we know, this is the smallest neural implant that will measure electrical activity in the brain and then report it out wirelessly. It measures only 300 microns long and 70 microns wide, about the width of a single human hair. It works by encoding neural signals within small pulses of infrared light before sending that information harmlessly through the brain tissue and bone to a receiver. Would take took a long time to get this science to work. The implant relies on a semiconductor diode made from aluminum gallium arsenide. The material enables it to harvest light energy for power while also emitting light to send data. The diode is supported with a low noise amplifier and an optical encoder using the same transmission principles seen in standard microchips. They say the data transmission is accomplished through a pulse position modulation, the same technology seen in many satellite optical communication arrays. So the doctors say they can use very, very little power to communicate and still successfully get the data back out optically. So far, they've tested what they call moat in lab grown cell cultures before moving on to creatures. They say moat reliably recorded neural activity spikes along with wider synaptic activities. One major drawback to most current brain implants is that they can't function when a patient undergoes electrical monitoring like an MRI. But Moat is made from materials that allow it to bypass this issue entirely. Its wireless capabilities solve another recurring issue for implants. One of the motivations for doing this is that traditional electrodes and optical fibers can irritate the brain. The tissue moves around and the implant can trigger an immune response. So the goal was to make a device small enough to minimize the disruption while still capturing brain activity faster than imaging systems without the need to genetically modify neurons for imaging. They think this design could be adapted for other tissues as well, maybe even the spinal cord. And it could have uses if embedded inside artificial skull plates as well. There's a lot of different things that this technology could be used for. So that's the latest with brain implants. It's hard to imagine how small this is just by looking at the picture. How about we lighten it up a little bit with the lotto of the day? This guy goes to the gym, goes to work out, which is nice, get a little exercise in these dark days. He goes to the gym, this Maryland man, and while he's there, he was leaving the gym and decided to stop at the market, Keller's Market to be exact, in Okokeek, Maryland, and he bought some Powerball and some Mega Millions tickets, both, before heading home. It led him to win $150,000 in the October 18th Powerball drawing. He said, I couldn't believe it when I saw $150,000 pop up on the screen. He said, I called my wife who was downstairs because it was unbelievable. He plans to save his prize money for now, but he said it could lead to a little extra holiday spending. Of course, everybody better get a nice present, right? Um, I thought this was interesting. Love a little sea resort. This resort right on the coast. And if you look at the buildings, some of the roof structures are very interestingly shaped. That is because at the Intaya retreat in Indonesia, sweeping bamboo roofs are informed by sea creatures. That is what they are supposed to look like. Here's a closer shot. You can kind of see their different shapes, different sea creature looking shapes. Here's another close up. That's pretty cool. Kind of goes to the feel of the resort. They're undulating bamboo roofs modeled on seashells and fish and manta rays that provide shelter for facilities across this wellness retreat in Indonesia. It's on the edge of a cliff on the island Nusa Penida. It's called the Intaya Retreat, two A's, Intaaya, the Intaya Retreat. And it's made of 12 tented guest suites alongside a yoga studio, a spa, a restaurant, and a tea room, each sheltered beneath a distinct roof topped with timber shingles. They were looking to minimize the retreat's environmental impact, so they created these lightweight structures using local materials like bamboo, limestone, and rammed earth. It's super cool. Each of Entire Retreat's 5 facility buildings is based on a different form of marine life, beginning with the shell lobby, located at the site's entrance, and the highest point at the reception area overlooks the entire retreat, sheltered beneath the domed crab like roof. Alongside is the shell restaurant, topped by an undulating roof that mimics a giant clam. I think that's what we're looking at here. And then there's the fishtail tea room, which features a curved pitched roof with ends that sweep upwards. I'll go back to the other picture. Fishtail roof. You got the clam. You got the manta ray. Here's what they look like inside. Pretty cool. The winding pathways lead past a swimming pool and connect to the tent suites and the Manta Yoga Studio and the Shell Spa, both positioned closer to the edge of the cliff. The spatial sequence reflects the overall master plan of Intaya. The journey moves from the enclosure to openness, from land to sea, culminating where the architecture meets the horizon. And the roofs, as you can see here, are structured by branching clusters of bamboo columns, all clad with shingles of native ulin wood, which will weather over time to a silvery gray. The majority of spaces have been left completely open to the elements apart from the tea room and the spa, which are more enclosed by walls of rammed earth and glazing. So what you're looking at here is one of the interiors. Here's the interior of the yoga studio. Look at the roof. I just thought it was cool, this style of building. I love it. For the tent suites, the canvas fabric has been stretched over timber and rammed earth structures, with each opening onto a dedicated terrace looking out toward the sea. They have solar panels. They also have an energy grid that runs on diesel for electricity. They use rainwater harvesting and a natural wastewater treatment system. So I like it. I think this is a cool looking place. I'll probably never ever make it here, but I like the ideas. A little too close to the edge of that cliff for me. I don't know. How about this? The James Dyson Awards have been passed out for 2025, and they include a gaming-inspired Parkinson's keyboard. That is the winner of this year's 2025 James Dyson Award for Innovation. The keyboard is therapeutic for people with Parkinson's, and there's another winner, an AI-powered water quality sensor, and both have won this year's James Dyson Award, recognizing the best inventions by students and graduates from across the world. There were more than 2,100 entries from 28 countries. And of them, the On-Cue keypad by designer Alessandra Galli took the gold home in the medical category. Alessandra, and also the other winner, gets a prize of £30,000 to help develop the prototype into a sellable, scalable product that can be brought to the market. This year marks the first time both winning projects integrated artificial intelligence in some way to analyze data and offer predictions. So, this on cue keyboard uses AI as one of a series of therapeutic cues to help people with Parkinson's type more easily and accurately by managing the tremors and freezing that comes with this neurological condition. The vibrations transmitted through the keys and matching wristbands help guide the user's typing rhythm. The AI functions much like a predictive text, anticipating and illuminating the letter they're most likely to press next. The winner, Galley, who goes to Delft University of Technology in the Netherlands, took cues from gaming keyboards to create a compact split design that reduces strain on the hands and arms while raised edges on the keycaps provide better purchase, easier to type. The sliders allow the user to customize the visual cues to suit their specific symptoms, which varies from person to person. So that's pretty cool. Galley's going to use this prize money to get this keyboard into the hands of people with Parkinson's and other neurological conditions, including those with Alzheimer's and something called dystonia. And here is the other winner. I have a picture. The other winner is in a different category. This is Philip Budney that you see here, who developed this floating water sense buoy. And he was selected as the global sustainability winner. So she wins for the medical category. He wins for the global sustainability category. And this is a pretty cool thing. The WaterSense AI, uh, in WaterSense, the AI is used to provide real-time monitoring of water quality in rivers and lakes, and then forecast pollution events up to 72 hours in advance. This device uses low-cost recyclable paper sensors to measure more than 20 key indicators of water quality, which are then automatically replaced every day, much like a roll of film in a camera. The data that they're getting from this process is then transmitted to an AI-powered online platform at regular intervals, every minute, every hour, whatever they set it to do. And then all of the information is made publicly available through a website and used to predict future pollution events. The hope is that this buoy sensor will empower local communities and authorities to take action to protect their waterways. Budney is a PhD candidate in nanotechnology in Poland at the Warsaw University of Technology. He designed the system to be powered by natural water current through a built-in hydro generator. The roll of paper sensors needs to be replaced only once a year. So he said this allows for continuous monitoring, which is cool because the landlocked bodies of water are especially vulnerable to pollution and they're much less closely watched than the sea. So there you go. There's your Dyson Innovation Awards. Well done. The next story I have for you is about young Lincoln. Wait, what? That's Abraham Lincoln, and he's looking a little sexy, maybe a little bit too sexy. He's been standing in the courthouse in Los Angeles County for 84 years. You would think someone would say, wait a minute, why has Abe Lincoln got his thumb in his pants and showing us something extra? The story out of SF Gate says the story behind LA's surprisingly horny Abraham Lincoln statue. That the artist saw Abraham Lincoln as a shirtless hunk. Yeah. I can't believe it's been there for so long. Downtown Los Angeles' Civic Hall is where this work of art stands. It almost looks like an accident. Inside the main lobby of the Spring Street Courthouse, right beside the entry doors and the metal detectors, A statue of Abraham Lincoln stands, but it's not the Abraham Lincoln from the picture books, the history books. There is no stovepipe hat. There is no bushy beard. This is an 8-foot tall limestone sculpture of a young, youthful Lincoln without the beard, without the big bushy hair, no hat, the hair pushed back a la Gavin Newsom. And it's not the shirtlessness that kind of makes you go, what? He's got no shoes and is a little suggestive. He's got his thumb in the waistband of his pants, kind of trying to reveal a little more skin. Young Lincoln has apparently been greeting visitors at the courthouse since 1941. In the late 30s, a Fresno man named James Hansen entered a government-sponsored contest that invited artists to submit their entries for a possible statue to live inside, at that time, what was the new Southern California building. So Hansen was in his early 20s, and he was a frustrated artist. He'd been getting disillusioned with his work. According to the Public Art Archive, as published in SF Gate, a friend convinced him to enter the contest put on by the Fine Arts section of the Federal Works Agency. So Hansen submitted a small example of his idea in plaster, and he unexpectedly won the contest. $7,200 in prize money in 1939. That was a lot of money, even though he never previously worked on a significant piece of sculpture at that point. So there was a story done in Life magazine the next year. He was so surprised by his win that he blew the money on a new car, then he totaled the vehicle, and he spent a few weeks in jail. So here's a picture from another angle. Wait, is that Gavin Newsom or is that Abraham Lincoln? Who is that supposed to be? It's Abe. Eventually, Hansen did get to work on the sculpture. He spent a year chipping away at this, did not draw on reference material about Lincoln's own physique while making the sculpture, but used his own body as a reference for young Lincoln. That according to the Fresno Bee. He topped off the sculpture by having Lincoln tote a book under his arm, wanting to show him as he trudged homeward with a borrowed book to read by the flickering light on a hearth in his log cabin. So the statue was put up in 1941. Not a lot of celebration surrounding. There wasn't some big grand to-do. But in the years following, people began to catch wind of this unusual statue inside the courthouse. When he was asked why he made Lincoln, the word they use is saucy, Hansen said, well, from a sculpturing standpoint, it's better to show the body without any clothes, and that's why I left him off. Research suggests the depiction of Lincoln was part of a wave of muscular Christianity. According to Smithsonian Magazine, this sort of imagery saw religiously coded moralistic figures portrayed in beefcake fashion within art, and it was a reaction against more immigrants and women taking on more prominent roles in American society. That meant, according to the Smithsonian Magazine, to communicate morally exemplary Lincoln meant to capturing a physically fit Lincoln. So physically fit then equated with morality. Statues created elsewhere also depict Lincoln in brawny form, though none are as outwardly, they say, horny as the one in the downtown LA courthouse. And it's been there for a long time, so it's got some staying power. People forget about it, and then someone will be walking by and catch a look and go, oh, and they take a picture and post it on social media, and then it'll go viral and get some new comments like honest abs, Abraham Lincoln. I don't know. There's Hot Young Abe in the LA County Courthouse. And of all the places in the country for it, it kind of seems like the perfect spot. All right, we move forward now to Hide in Your Cave Monday. And we're going to Alaska because we saw some waterfalls in Alaska. So I thought, why not stay with the caves, the Alaskan caves? Because there's some really special ones. Some we may have seen before, some maybe not so much. The first cave on the list is El Capitan, and it's part of a bigger cave system, I would say. Then it kind of spreads, so there are multiple caves involved in this El Capitan system. And I learned a lot actually while researching for this particular Hide in Your Cave Monday. Do you know what a karst is? Karst? We'll talk about it in just a moment. But first, let's talk a little bit more about El Capitan. Kind of steps leading up here, right? Looks like an interesting cave to go check out. It is listed as one of the best caves in Alaska to see. The El Capitan Cave is one of Alaska's largest caverns. It is in the Tongass National Forest, the biggest, densest, deepest cave in Alaska. But there is a real possibility of falling here, so they've put a fence up around the entrance to the cave. Inside of the El Capitan Cave, flowing chambers, a roof that looks like Swiss cheese, spherical rocks, low ceilings that gradually fade into inky blackness above your head. The next one is also part of this system. It's called the Kushtaka Cave. And try as I might, it was very, very difficult. Here's another picture of the El Capitan. Try as I might, it was very hard to find a picture of the Kushtaka Cave. I could tell you it's located along the Alaskan coast, and it is also associated with a myth or a legend. Mhm. The cave's entrance is strange, both narrow and light. The most unsettling thing about the Kushtaka Cave is that bare bones and the bones of domestic dogs litter the cave's entrance. It looks, they say, nothing like what you'd expect when you think of Alaska. The name comes from the Kushtaka, a creature of legend that has endured for generations. Now, according to the legend, the Kushtaka is something like an otter, but with supernatural powers that can shapeshift it into a human. It is a creature, they say, with bad intentions. It sometimes imitates a crying baby or a screaming woman to lure people into drowning in the icy waters where it resides. They say, whether the legend's true or not, please be careful at the Kushtaka Cave. As with any ice cave, serious injury or death is often right around the corner if you're careless. Here's the Karst Cave. And this is one of many karst caves in America and around the world. So you type in karst cave and they pop up all over the place. This is one where the landscape is well known and studied. The cave is a hub for researchers and archaeologists. Large trees can thrive in the less acidic soil in the karst cave regions. In-stream salmon populations benefit from the increased stability of these locations, and various birds and mammals, especially bats, use the caves to live in and to hibernate in as well. So here's a picture of what this karst cave area looks like. But also, I have this graph. So you can see here that the karst cave is a kind of a whole different kind of a cave system. Let's see, I have this study. It's called the Living Rock. about the karst caves. The karst caves are a world where rock melts into water and water carves an invisible labyrinth beneath our feet. The terrains form when slightly acidic rainwater, enriched with carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and soil, reacts with soluble rocks like limestone, dolostone, gypsum, or halite. And over thousands to millions of years, the acid etches into the bedrock, widening fractures and joints until entire drainage systems disappear underground. And what you get as a result is a surface riddled with depressions, caves, sinkholes, and a subterranean realm of rivers and chambers shaped purely by chemistry and time. The karst begins quietly with a single drop of rainwater, and as it percolates through the soil, the water becomes a mild carbonic acid capable of dissolving calcite, which is the main mineral in limestone. And each droplet enlarges the rock's pores and cracks just a fraction, but given time, those tiny paths merge into channels and caverns. The surface streams sink into these voids and they vanish from sight, re-emerging miles away as springs. In regions of high rainfall and dense vegetation, the process accelerates, forming the striking tower of karst tropical zones. In colder climates like Alaska, where glaciation exposes bedrock, the karst develops slower and often intertwines with glacial erosion. So you can see here the sinkholes up at the top, the rain coming down. You can see where the sinkhole is formed, and the tunnel system underneath, and then the water going down even below that. So I learned a little more about karst caves here. They say the karst may look solid, but beneath the surface, it's a honeycomb of voids, some large enough to swallow entire neighborhoods. Sinkholes are the most common hazard, forming when the roof of a subterranean cavity collapses. When it happens in places like Florida or China, it can be sudden and swallow homes or roads, even small lakes. Karsts also pose serious water quality risks because underground channels lack natural filtration. Contaminants can spread through groundwater with alarming speed. So, engineers face constant challenges building in these areas as foundations and roads have to be reinforced to handle potential subsidence. The caves themselves, while they're alluring, are full of dangers: unstable ceilings, hidden pits, rising waters, air pockets, low in oxygen as well. They say while Alaska is famed for glaciers and volcanoes, its karst terrain is equally fascinating, especially in the Tongass National Forest of southeast Alaska. The island chain from Prince of Wales to Admiralty and Baranof harbors uh, give provides some of North America's most complex coastal karst. Beneath the lush rainforest lies an intricate network of limestone caverns, including El Capitan Cave, which we just saw, the longest mapped cave in Alaska, and that is where dripping water has carved vaults lined with creamy calcite formations and preserved Ice Age bare bones, otter remains, and evidence of early habitation. The karst on Prince of Wales formed from ancient reef limestones deposited in warm Paleozoic seas, later uplifted and fractured by tectonic forces. The humid coastal climate and heavy rainfall continue to dissolve the rock today, creating disappearing streams and sinkholes hidden in dense forest. Some of these caves still contain active underground rivers. Others hold microclimates that shelter rare species of bats, insects, and blind cave shrimp. Smaller karst pockets exist elsewhere in Alaska as well. So I was fascinated, of course. Again, that's what it looks like at the top. You get these sinkholes in the middle of dense forests. And back to El Capitan, there's what it looks like inside. Okay, we move on from the karst system to this one. This one is called the the Matanuska Glacier Cave. It's about 100 miles from Anchorage. The longest glacier in the United States that can be reached by car at 27 miles. There are campgrounds available out here as well. Because of its active status, Matanuska's appearance is ever evolving. It moves about a foot every day. They say going on a guided tour of the ice caves is recommended to ensure that you stay safe and have everything you need. You can take a shuttle from downtown Anchorage. The trips operate year round. Here's the next one. This is do I have it? The Kennecott. Here it is, the Kennecott Caves. This is in Wrangell St. Elias National Park, Kennecott Glacier. It extends from Mount Blackburn, Alaska's fifth highest peak, to the Kennecott River. And they say the Kennecott Glacier might not appear impressive at first, but when you scratch the surface, you'll find plenty of blue glacial ice. Because of the constant movement and change, they don't recommend exploring without a guide. They say it's very easy for ice caves to become unsafe, and depending on when you plan to go, anything might change. So if you're going to go see the Kennecott Glacier Caves, check it out with a guide. The picture sure looks cool. And this one I think we've seen before, but this one never gets old to me. This is the Mendenhall Glacier Cave. Look at that. That's so cool. It's 12 miles from Juneau, Alaska's capital. The Mendenhall Glacier Recreation Area, home to a 13-mile-long glacier, also located in the Tongass National Forest. The ice caves appear like you're traveling beneath a frozen river with the waves and glistening blue domes. Strangeness coexists with beauty, making exploration, boy, I'm having a hard time speaking today, thrilling and unsettling. They say getting to the caves is kind of difficult. You really do need a guide. That is the Mendenhall Ice Caves. I think I might have another picture here. How cool is that? It really does look like you're looking upward to a river above you. This one is called the Root Glacier. It's another one where they say you have to have a guide in order to go here. It is also in Wrangell St. Elias National Park and Preserve, the largest national park in the United States, a 7-hour drive from Anchorage. You can see Donahoe Peak from here, and you can check out the glacier's tide pools, steep ravines. A world of blue ice walls await you inside the Jumbo Creek Ice Cave. It's about 1.5 miles from the Kennecott Glacier, or from Kennecott, rather, which is an historic abandoned mining town. And we already saw there's a Kennecott Cave as well. Since the ice on the glacier can be pretty dangerous, the trail takes you directly onto it. The touring company will then supply the required equipment. They say if you want to stay safe, stay away from the glacier's edge. The next one is the Spencer Glacier Cave. Are you chilly yet looking at all this? I think I have the Spencer. Do I have the Spencer? The Spencer Cave. Oh yeah, the Spencer's cool. The glacier is a 3,005-foot high ice formation that stands about 60 miles from Anchorage at the head of Spencer Lake. It's where you'll find the glacier's peaks and headwalls. They say the stunning mountain scenery and cascading waterfalls are enough to impress any vacationer. Here's what it looks like inside. Oh, that's cool. To get there, you take the Alaska Railroad to the glacier and the caves. The Spencer Glacier Ice Caves can be explored on a hiking or a kayaking tour, both of which typically start at the Spencer Whistle Stop train station. They have guides there that will try to locate a cave or a crevasse in the ice suitable for tourists. They do say, as before, exploring a glacier is risky business for obvious reasons. The Spencer Glacier was given its name in honor of a railroad worker named Spencer who vanished during an ice expedition in 1905. He's in there somewhere. Those ice formations almost look like whales. You can see how big it is compared to this little man coming down on the rope. That is the Spencer Glacier Caves. Then there's some smaller caves that are on the list, lesser known caves in Alaska, including the On Your Knees cave, because it's tight fit in there. And there's the Puffin Grotto. There's a picture of it. I don't see any puffins in there right now, but apparently they like it in there. The puffins enjoy it very much. The Puffin Cave, Puffin Grotto, is on an island, and apparently the puffins flock here. Then there's the Bumper Cave. This is also on Prince Wales Island, called the Bumper Cave, and a couple of scientists were sent. They had gear flown in via helicopter, scrambling through the first muddy crawl space, entering a low horizontal passage filled with rocks and dirt and numerous poorly preserved bare bones. Then they squeezed through a second ultra-tight crawl space, and that's when they found they hit the jackpot. They discovered preserved bear skeletons at the back of a room, a 2-meter ledge, which led to a fast-flowing stream and a rocky platform. And there they found an almost complete brown bear skeleton, female, and dated way far back, 11,000 years ago. A few bones had washed into the depths of the mountain by the stream, never to be seen again. They found 2 bear cub skeletons in here. All interesting because these bears are now not seen in Africa, the ones found in the cave. So these are creatures that are now extinct in this region. That's the Bumper Cave. So there's some pretty cool caves in Alaska. From the El Capitan and the Karst Caves and the Kushtaka Cave. You got to be careful of Kushtaka. Kennecott Ice Glacier Cave, Matanuska Cave, Mendenhall Cave, the Root Glacier, the Spencer Glacier Cave. That is Hide in Your Cave Monday. I think I might need a blanket. Time to warm up a little bit. I have kept you way too long. Thank you to everyone who contributes to the show. Got a lot of stories from Teacher Lori. Thank you to Julie D for the message. I will put your story in for tomorrow. I do appreciate it. Kim at theafterparty.live is the way to get to me if you want to send me a story or an idea or whatever it may be. Huge thank you to Deidre for her recurring PayPal payment. Chris H as well. Delette for hers, Susan S, Kathy O, huge thank you. Again, that's Deidre, Chris, Delette, Susan, Kathy O. You guys, thank you for helping keep this show alive. The PayPal information is in the show description and in the About tab here on the After Party Live. All right. Many thanks for being here. I will see you tomorrow on the Mark Thompson Show featuring the amazing Mo Kelly. But until we meet again, make it the very best Monday you can, and bye-bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
And I was remiss. Harry with the 5. How could I get depressed when I have the after party? Woohoo! Thank you, Harry. Thank you for the 5, and thank you for the great comment. And throwing in 10, Tammy comes in with her beautiful plumeria, which brings me light and joy. And a lovely contribution. Tammy, thank you for that. Much appreciated. I know, Judy. I'm telling you. You're not wrong, Jim. Thanks for the stories, teacher.